Hello guys, in this video, we're gonna talk about an essay on globalization. Hi, my name is KP and I'm the GP tutor who helps you study efficiently. So here's the question. Is globalization to be welcomed or feared today? Before we dive into the question, let's talk about what globalization is. Now, you might think you know about globalization, but your definition of globalization might be different from the definition of another person. So, broadly speaking, I would like to define globalization with just 5 things. Free trade, migration, international flow of information, flow of capital, and lastly, multinational corporations. Now, of course, there are many other features of globalization, but for the purpose of GP, we're just gonna focus on these 5 because from my experience, these are the easiest ways to argue about globalization. So for the question, is globalization to be welcomed or feared today? I have 3 arguments for you. Argument number 1, globalization brings about economic benefits, possibly to all countries. Countries get richer when they specialize in producing goods and services that they are best at making. And then they can get the rest from other countries by trading. By pursuing this comparative advantage, many countries in the world have enjoyed prosperity that we have seen over the past few decades. Because of this obvious benefit of free trade, many people just can't find fault about globalization until 2020. Let's look at South Korea. During the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, the world's largest car manufacturer could not produce a single car in weeks because the company Hyundai couldn't source parts from China. China also supplies half the electronic parts that American manufacturers use. This also affected the production line in America. However, it is always the poorest countries that get affected the most from this reverse globalization. Let's look at Bangladesh. Bangladesh is the world's garment factory. In fact, 80% of the export revenue from Bangladesh came from the garment industry. The garment factories make clothes for the rich countries, and this industry hires a lot of women. When the pandemic hit the rich countries, companies like Marks & Spencer, H&M just stopped buying clothes from these factories. So overnight, these women who work in the garment factories just lost their jobs. Their income got affected because of what's happening elsewhere. Argument number 2. Globalization encourages countries to sacrifice self-sufficiency. For a country like Singapore, most items like food have to be imported. The 2020 pandemic exposed this vulnerability in our supply chain. Now, I must add that the Singapore government has been aware of this issue even before the pandemic. It established the Singapore Food Agency, which aims to supply 30% of our food by 2020. This is also known as the 30 by 30 target. So with careful planning, globalization and self-sufficiency can go hand in hand. Argument number 3. Let's talk about migration. Migration could bring economic benefits to all countries, both the migrants' home countries and the recipient countries. Let's look at underdeveloped countries like Nepal, Haiti, and Tajikistan. According to the World Bank, remittances from abroad make up over a quarter of the GDP in these countries. The World Bank also found that when remittances rose by 10%, extreme poverty level fell by 3.5%. And what about the developed countries which usually are the recipients of these migrants? Migrants fill job gaps in undesirable areas like farming, healthcare, elderly care, childcare, and sanitation. In Singapore, foreign domestic workers make up 250,000 of the workforce. So now, parents have more time and freedom to pursue other things in life, like a career. So you may ask, what about skilled migrants? Skilled migrants can contribute significantly to the recipient countries. Did you know that 1/3 of American Nobel Prize winners were immigrants? That brings us to another issue, brain drain. When skilled people migrate to a wealthier country, it is definitely good for the wealthy country, but not so good for the countries where they come from. Brain drain has stunted growth in developing countries like Malaysia, Mexico, and Liberia. Ironically, these are also the countries that need talent and development the most. Did you know that the opposite of brain drain is brain gain? So I have a question for you. Do you think that Singapore is suffering from brain drain or benefiting from brain gain? Let us know in the comments below what you think. That's all for this question on globalization. Thank you for watching. If you want more examples for this question, follow the link below. Once again, I'm KP from First Class GP. We'll see you next time.